I hope my teammates realize to focus on the boss right now. Cause like, this dude doesn't even see me. They're all focused on the fucking decoy. This is so funny.
Assistance needed. What's going on? It's Miles. So, you just saw footage of me working out the kinks of my upcoming legendary support build. There's no damage, I'm sorry. There's a little, but it's called the Fifth Man because the legendary is capped at 4 people, and this creates a fifth one that aggravates everybody in the room that aren't your teammates. Maybe your teammates too, who knows. But what we have here is a tier 6 skill build. It's not optimized, it could be running one blue because of the +1 from Technician. But really what it is it's a decoy build that isn't meant to throw people off in PvP. So Decoy, as you know, does create a threat presence on the field. At tier 6, it's a +90 on top of the 100 that it has natively, so it's 190, which means nothing's going to look at you. It'll look at your decoy. Now, if your teammate's putting out a huge amount of DPS, something like an Aces and Eights build, or Negotiators, or just some kind of Glass Cannon red build, it might throw everything off, but I have a workaround for that too. I'll explain that in a little bit. But as you see here, we're going to start off the star of the show, which is the Decoy. I happen to have a perfect health and perfect duration mod for it. Got lucky through just kind of farming around. The thing is, with the Decoy, should your teammates be putting out a lot of damage and drawing attention off the Decoy, and they're starting to get clapped, if you overcharge, which there's 2 ways to do that with this build, your 190% threat level goes up to 350%. Everything is going to stop and turn and try and burn down your decoy. Now here's the thing, when you overcharge it, it's going to get a crap ton of health, have damn near an instantaneous reset, and it's still going to be getting boosted, if you're smart, by your Artificer Hive, which is star number 2 of the show. Artificer is exclusive to the Technician class. It boosts the skill efficiency and refreshes them by replenishing their health every time one of the little charges goes out. Now, skill mod wise, I'm just using the 2 that come with it for the range and duration. That 3rd slot, I haven't found a mod that actually affects the efficiency, I would guess, of the Artificer Hive itself. If there is one, please do let me know. Stim efficiency is really just for the Hasbro Hive, so it doesn't really do anything. I just threw it in there for, shits and giggles. But you'll also see that the refill speed on this is extremely low. It's 0.6 seconds. And that is because 3rd star of the show, BTSU Data Gloves. These are exotic gloves that came out back in year 1. They've gone through a rework since then. They don't do exactly what they used to when Gear 2.0 came out. But if you're new to these gloves, here's what they do. They've got a talent called Transference Overclock, which gives you a crap ton of skill haste for your hive, specifically per skill tier. So since we're at +6, you get 75% extra skill haste on top, which is why my refill speed is 0.6 of a second. Now, the whole point of these gloves, not only is it skill haste to repair skills, but when you detonate your hive, meaning you hold L1 or R1, depending on which way you set it up, to break it, it will refresh all your cooldowns and grant you overcharge for 15 seconds. And since we're at skill tier 6, that's also going to apply to your teammates. That's going to be really good for long fights if somebody's running a restore hive and they've already burned it picking somebody up and then somebody else goes down. You break your hive, they get their revive back, and it's overcharged, so they can pick somebody back up, and then you guys can keep it moving. Now, the only downside with that is it's got a 2-minute cooldown, which is a little shaky at times, but that's why you play this build from cover, which comes to some of the not so required, but I think they should be mandatory for a build like this pieces. Now, I happen to be using 3 pieces of Empress International. In my opinion, best brand set overall for any type of skill build that isn't explosive or status. And even status skill efficiency works. So, you're also going to notice real quick, all my pieces are blue and yellow except the data gloves. That's because every single piece is rolled armor regen and skill haste. They're not all optimized. I'm working on that. Materials are really hard to come by. Now, chest talent is going to be Overwatch, because with this build, you need to be in cover. You're not a 6 blue, foundry build. If you get hit, it's going to fucking hurt. Pardon my French. Now, Overwatch, after you're in cover for 10 seconds, you and your allies get 12% weapon and skill damage. And as long as you stay in cover and go from cover to cover while moving, you keep it. If you step out of cover and then go back in, it's gone. You gotta wait for it to come back. Is there a perfect Overwatch talent? Yes. Is it worth it? Absolutely not, because the only difference is instead of a 10-second charge-up time, it's 8. You lose a skill tier because it's going to drop as a Fenris piece, which is a red core, and the likeliness that you get it to drop with armor regen, skill haste, and Overwatch out the box is basically slim to none. Don't waste your time. Other portion that I use is the backpack, and I think for this build, and honestly, as a talent overall, Overclock is not used very much. This is mandatory for this build. Let me explain why. Overclock gives you a 7-meter area of effect around any of your deployed skills. Now, that's turret, hive, a decoy, stationary pulse, the one that kind of blips around and scans things. 7 meters from each one. So if I've got both my artificer out and my decoy out, that's 2 separate circles that my teammates can be in to be affected by this. Now, within that 7-meter radius, if your allies are there, they get 25% reload speed, which, if you want to admit it or not, is DPS, and it's also reducing their active cooldowns, where instead of say something was a 10-second cooldown for them, it's now going to be 8, because it's 0.2 off of each second. Now, before I get into the weapons, I need to put a disclaimer. With the upcoming update for Season 10, we get a new brand set, which is called Arquebus Brazos. Everybody's going crazy over the named holster because, it's a blue armor core, skill health, and it gives you 20% flat weapon damage, which is crazy to me. Some of the builds that are going to come out using that are going to be insane because I've already seen some in the PTS. My whole thing, though, is the bag. And I don't think enough people are paying attention to this because most people don't run support builds or think the way I do. Sorry to the meta. But I'm going to bring it up on screen here. This is just a snippet of the named bag. I think it's called the Hermano, if I'm not mistaken. But as you see, Arquebus Brazos is 10% skill haste, so right off the bat, I can swap the bag, not lose anything, because I keep my skill haste. I get the blue core natively, which I don't necessarily need a yellow core in the bag because I got the +1 from Technician. So that's going to bring my armor up overall. And then it comes with perfected overclock. And just look at the difference on this. Regular overclock is a 7-meter area of effect. Perfect is 10. Now think about that. The radius of the Artificer Hive is 13. So if I throw the Artificer Hive out, that creates a 13-meter radius to affect your skills to be refreshed and affected by the skill efficiency from the Hive, including my decoy. And then if you're within 10 meters, basically if you're inside the purple circle on the ground, you get the benefits of the perfected overclock, which instead of 25% reload is 30. Instead of a 0.2 off of each second of cooldown, it's 0.4. That's a lot. Now, the other thing is, if you think about this, now wherever I put my decoy, the decoy also creates a 10-meter radius, which is insane. So you can really, if you know how to position your skills and where to put them, you can really, really benefit your entire team. You're talking weapon damage, skill damage, reload speed, and active cooldown, and skill efficiency, basically at 100% uptime. So when you're in a long fight, that's going to be untouchable as a support thing. Yeah, you're not healing everybody, but this keeps all the distractions on the field up. And should somebody be running a healing build and they drop, their heal hive or they're using a chem launcher, when they pull their chem launcher out, the artificer, if it's within range, is going to boost their chem launcher, making it more efficient. So there's a lot of different ways this build affects everything all at once. Now, as far as weapons go, you can kind of run whatever you want. I personally run a Pestilence because it's just sustained damage. If you happen to get a kill, the tick jumps to something inside of 25 meters. You could use blue screen. You could use whatever you want. Now, for Pestilence itself, when the next update comes out, we could use that Arquebus Brazos named holster because the extra 20% weapon damage just to up the tick on the Pestilence itself. Plus, what that would do is also allow you to run a second blue core, essentially giving you 4 yellow, 2 blue, plus a +2 from Technician and from the brand set. This way your skills are still at +6 while having, I believe, would probably end up being like 1.1 million armor. Pistol, I personally run Future Perfect just so I can get overcharge on my own if I need to. Like say, my gloves are on cooldown and I just want to overcharge the decoy because we're running into a little bit of a hassle with say like, a really narrow room like inside the Capitol building or at the end of DUA with the big chunga and you want them to just focus that while your BTS gloves are on cooldown. It helps with that. And then I happen to pick up that rifle. It happens to have flatline on it. Honestly, you can run anything with flatline in that second slot or both slots for that matter. Kingbreaker, 416, whatever it is. It's up to you. So, on that note, that's the build. If you guys see any ways to improve it, or you want to try it yourself, like I said, this is a template. Do with it as you will. Show me what you come up with on Twitter. You know, shoot me a message, shoot me a screenshot. Come hang out with me on Twitch. By the time this video goes live, I'm probably going to be live. Other than that, there you have it. First of what I hope is many build videos. I've always said that I'm going to try and throw one out there and throw my hat in the ring. I do some kind of off-the-wall stuff. Yeah, I got some meta stuff too if I go to PvP. I'm not your PvP guy. You want that? Go talk to Vibes. That man knows how to shake it easy down. But you guys have a great day. Tell somebody you love them. And don't forget, incoming fire always has right of way. Do with that knowledge with what you will. You guys have a good one.